This is the Mets pitching box score, and so Chris Bassitt didn't have it early in the second inning. He ended up throwing a lot of pitches as the Padres made him work, and then after the game kind of got away from the Mets, then Buck, elimination situation, just went to his bullpen. You even saw Edwin Diaz there, but the bottom line, it wasn't so much the pitching as it was just the bats. I mean, one hit and one walk, two base runners all night long for the Mets. Even with Starling Marte back in that lineup.
Yeah, they couldn't get anything going. I mean, Alonso did hit the ball hard a couple times. Lindor hit that rocket down the line that Myers made that nice play. They had a couple of hard hit balls. I just think at the end of the day, especially, when you're facing a great pitcher that's on, it doesn't matter. That's why great pitching will always be great hitting. Even though that lineup top to bottom is a great lineup with the Mets, Joe Musgrove's stuff tonight, for me, the way he attacked the zone and the way he was just working everything, Rip. I mean, he had a great curveball tonight, punching guys out with the changeup, had a great four-seamer. Like I said, was changing eye levels. For me, even it doesn't matter who was out there tonight, Joe Musgrove was the better man.
Yeah, and look, you hit the ball hard, yeah, I get it. But Musgrove, his 4 starts coming into the postseason, he was dealing. And when you go out there and 1 run in 22 innings pitched, you're feeling it. He's the type of dude that goes out there and says, yep, here we go. And they got a couple runs early, and he went out there and kept going. There's part of it, too, about how a dude's on the bump. And he owned the bump today. Stuff was good. He understood what he was doing, what he was getting away with. And I do think the fact that they checked him for something fired him up a little bit. No, I'm doing this on my own. I'm going to show you. Right. And he did. So he was just better than the Mets was.
And I think one of the tough things is when you have a 3-game series, when you don't win your division, you're in the wild card, you fall in a 3-game series. You run into a buzzsaw like Joe Musgrove. You don't have a 4th, 5th, 6th game. It's not a 7-game series. So that's the tough thing about a 3-game series. You run into somebody like Musgrove, you're in trouble.
Let's go to Chris Bassitt. And early on, Bassitt likes to work quickly, and it seemed like that there were some pitch comm issues with the crowd. He and Tomas Nido couldn't get this synced up. But then also, though, the Padres, you saw several Padres batters making sure they got time to see if they can kind of disrupt his rhythm a little bit.
Well, I don't think that's anything new. That's been going on for a while. When you face a guy who gets onto the rubber and wants to work quickly, there have been teams in time and steps out. I don't think that has a whole lot of effect on Bassitt right there. If anything, maybe the pitch comm thing would have a little bit more effect because it's frustrating. But the hitter stepping out on a guy that works quick, that's been done forever.
Yeah, but can it have an effect?
I'm calling BS on that.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I just am.
All right.
I think one thing I saw, though, in the inning when Nola got when he got the big single to left, to me, it just looked like Bassitt wasn't throwing the ball with conviction. He was out of the zone. A couple balls weren't even close. As a hitter, you start to feel like, oh, man, this guy is rattled. He doesn't want to throw some of the pitches he's throwing. Like, even that pitch to Nola, I mean, it just felt like he was throwing the four-seamer, and then he threw the slider away that Nola spoiled, and then all of a sudden he kind of gave him that curveball, just rolled up a curveball to hit, and it was too good of a pitch to hit. Nola ends up putting it through the zone. But for me, when I looked at Bassitt all night long, he was not commanding the strike zone. He was not throwing his pitches with conviction. And there wasn't a lot of swing and miss in there, and I think that was the difference.
All right, let's get to Juan Soto. 2 hits tonight. They obviously made a big deal to get Soto, and then Josh Bell and a bunch of other players. Josh Hader at the back end of the bullpen. They picked him up earlier. But Soto didn't have a great regular season. Even when he got to San Diego, continued to struggle. But this is a guy, Bill, we know has great postseason pedigree, and it looks like he's getting hot at the right time.
Well, I think postseason pedigree, been there one time prior to this, and they went through the whole shooting match, right? And he had the big knocks in that postseason when he was a national off a Hader, which got him through the wild card, and then during the playoffs and World Series, he decided to take people deep like Cole, Verlander, Kershaw, and do it multiple times. So this dude, if he's right and he gets right with these guys moving forward, look out.
I think the big thing is that when you get to this time of year, you get to postseason time, your stars got to come out and play. You cannot have your stars just go away.
You saw it in St. Louis. I mean,
You saw it in St.
Arenado
Louis,
and Paul
right? Goldschmidt.
Yeah,
They just couldn't
struggled
get
at the
things
plate.
going. Exactly. And all of a sudden, they're gone, right? Tonight, Game 3, Musgrove settles in. The stars came out to play. Soto with 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Machado with a big hit, another RBI. So they drive in half the team's runs tonight. The stars came out to play. A lot of those in the back end of the lineup, too, 7, 8, 9 did too. So it was really a team effort with Musgrove leading the way.